journalists with a drone. Mike Sudoff, the military department, reported received shrapnel wounds and was promptly evacuated to a medical facility of the Russian Ministry of Defense. In his statement, Solovyev said Mike Sudoff was wounded in Zaporizhia while moving towards Ukrainian shelling. The Ukrainian armed forces hit a group of journalists from Russia with a UAV, he said. Solovyev said Maksudov worked in Ukraine for the early days of Russia's full-scale invasion of the country, and that had been to the eastern Donetsk region several times, where he documented the war crimes of the Kiev regime. Dmitry Kiselyov, the CEO of the Russian media group Rosa Segodnya, said Maksudov died a hero's death, like a brave fighter, according to a state-run news agency, RIA Novosti. Russian military analyst Ian Mativ raised questions about the reporter wearing full military gear while on the front lines in Ukraine. Russian propaganda says that journalist Boris Maksudov died at the front lines in Ukraine. There's just a nuance. If you look like this at the front, then you're not a journalist, but a soldier, he said in a post on X, previously known as Twitter, publishing a state clip of the correspondent. So in other words, they're saying if you're wearing a military, some sort of protective gear,
you're just marked as a soldier because you're not wearing crest on your back.
Right. Okay. The Russian installed head of annexed Crimea, Sergei Aksionov, expressed his condolences in a Telegram post after hearing news of the reporter's death. This is a terrible loss, he said. A true professional and patriot. He died performing his duty as soldier on the combat post. His dedication to his profession, courage, and fortitude will remain a worthy example for everyone who has connected their lives with journalism. That's all the time for the news we have right now. Please join us tonight by 6 p.m. Eastern when we will post an edition of The Awake Nation News on our YouTube channel, The Awake Nation News. Now it's time to tell you who's coming on the show today. Penny?
And away we go with a shot of espresso. Good day and welcome to the Awake Nation guest interview with guests who defy the mainstream narrative. Grab a cup of coffee while our guests prove the news for you. The Awake Nation, the truth with a shot of espresso. The Mockingbird Media controls the narrative. We help you determine what is real and what is not.
Global conspiracies, key players, highest levels of power, reaches into the lives of every man, woman, and child on this planet.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of government, I will fear no Satans. Friday, November 24, 2023, our guests are Paul Roberts. Paul Roberts is a 14th investigator investigating all things paranormal, from UFOs to ghosts to demons to cryptids. He is an author of over 73 paranormal themed books. Roberts is also a journalist for Phenomenon Magazine, Costa Rican Times, Outer Limits Magazine, and Paranormal Underground Magazine. Our next guest is Marissa McGinnis. Hashtag #MeToo Family Court Movement. Marissa seeks to bridge the gap between domestic abuse or family court crisis and MK Ultra. She is currently writing a book, developing a screenplay, and a comedy series about trauma. Marissa is networking to start a social movement to protect the children for a better future. Our next guest is Mark Matheny, Sig Semper Tyrannis News Podcast. Mark is a U.S. veteran, Messianic Jew, and independent investigative journalist and podcaster. Mark reports on geopolitical events that are culminating in a world government scenario. He breaks down the biblical and spiritual aspects of current events. You can find Mark on Rumble. Our next guest is Tanya Joy Gibson, Beauty for Ashes, Tanya Joy Show, Tanya Joy TV, Coffee Talk with Esther. Tanya is a former Miss Illinois. She's a podcaster, a singer, an actress, a speaker, and an activist for Jesus. Rounding out the final hour of the Awake Nation is Susie Q, White Horse Production. Susie is a world cutting horse champion and owner of a horse ranch in Benson. She's an entrepreneur who escaped being murdered by serial killers Otis School and Henry D. Lucas. She is currently working on her memoirs. Don't forget to subscribe to the Dark Outpost at darkoutpost.tv. There you will find exclusive content, interviews, documentaries, and intel not found anywhere else. For the full show, go to awakenation.tv. Falling down the rabbit hole can hurt. Ouch. We will provide the researchers and whistleblowers. Your mission is to discern the truth from the MSN lies. And now for the interview portion of the Awake Nation. And awake we go with a shot of espresso. It's showtime.
And welcome back to the Awake Nation with Kenny Ellery Shepherd, Dan, David Zuber joining us now, Paul, Dale, Robert.
Hi, Penny. Hi, David. How's it
Hi, how are
going?
you?
I'm drinking my coffee. I'm waking up.
Nice.
That's good. I'll give you a little shot of espresso in there too, we hope.
Oh, yeah. You gotta have that.
6:30 there.
Yeah, 6:30. Yes. It kind of reminds me when I was working at Department of Fish and Wildlife. I was getting up at 5, and for the Awake Nation, I get up at 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
It takes me
at 5 too, so.
It takes me an hour and a half to get ready.
Does it really? Wow, that's incredible. Well, you know what? We appreciate that. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving yesterday?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Ate a lot of food. Did you both have a very nice Thanksgiving?
I certainly did, Penny. I think you did, right?
Yes, I did.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. All that food is too much.
Oh, it is too much. But you know what? It's for me, it's like once a year I allow myself to really
Indulge.
pig out and indulge. Yes. Okay. What are we talking about today?
Well, I actually sent a couple pictures. I don't know if you received them.
I do have them.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you put one up and then I'll start talking about it.
All right. That sounds like a plan.
All right.
So, here we go.
Yes, I definitely want to talk about the extraterrestrial highway.
Oh, okay.
There's several of them. Actually, there's also one I believe in Costa Rica, isn't there?
Oh, yes, yeah.
First one, is that you standing under the sign?
Absolutely. I could
Did
tell.
you notice the little alien inn?
Yes. Oh, I actually camped out there in their parking lot. I took I took 3 investigators with me, and we went to Area 51, not inside, but right up to the gate. The people at the Alien were so friendly and so nice, and they said, you can camp out right here in the parking lot. I said, okay, this is great. So we had an all-night watch for UFOs, for UFO activity, and I had 2 investigators who claim up and down that they actually saw what I call starlight UFOs, and they were moving in erratical positions in the night sky. I didn't see it. And also, too, the people at the Alien actually took us to an abandoned village near Area 51. And they could not explain to me why that village was abandoned. And it was very haunted. We did some EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, and we actually got some disembodied voices on our recorder. So that whole abandoned village was very haunted, and they took us over there in their ATVs and everything else, so that was kind of interesting. I interviewed people inside the Alien, and there was one gentleman who claimed that he worked at Area 51, and that Bob Lazar actually worked at Area 51 at S4. he said that they would take them into Area 51 with blackout windows on the bus. And he remembers seeing Bob Lazar on that bus, and they couldn't really talk that much because you you have to have a need to know of everything that's going on over there, so they don't recommend you talking on the bus. But he would see Bob Lazar get off at S4, and then he would continue on, and he worked on secret spy planes and stuff like that. But he said that Bob Lazar, sure enough, worked at Area 51. So that was very interesting that I got that information. And then I also, too, interviewed this lady who claims up and down that this craft came to eye level with her, and there was a human inside, a human pilot, who looked at her, smiled, and waved. And she swears up and down this actually happened. And I have a tendency to believe her because I kept on asking her certain things, and she was very consistent with her statement. Also, too, everybody at the Alien always tell me that sonic booms are constantly heard, which it makes sense if they're working on aircraft and it goes, faster than the speed of sound. You're going to hear sonic booms. But they were saying that the sonic booms that they would hear, there was no aircraft in the skies. So I don't know. We got to the gate of Area 51, and you got your cameras and everything else going on. And I was looking up on the hill with binoculars, and I see this guy. He's wearing camis, and he's looking at me with his binoculars. Yeah. So I'm just looking at this guy, and then finally he takes his sniper rifle, and points it at me. I'm looking, I said, oh, I'm not going to say what word I used.
Right.
And I said, we need to get the heck out of here. But this guy is pointing his sniper rifle at me. So anyway, as we were taking off down the road, two other investigators said on the side that they saw like a UFO moving along the mountain. Again, I didn't see that, but that's something that they claim. I said, okay, if you saw it, you saw it. So that was my experience at Area 51, and it was a very unique experience. And I think the most important thing out of the whole thing was talking to the one gentleman who said that Bob Lazar actually worked at Area 51. And they said that Bob Lazar goes to the Alien every once in a while, and they actually have his picture at the bar.
It's interesting. We have a guest who hasn't been on the program for a while because he's been a little under the weather, unfortunately. His name is Tracy Torme, and he is the son of singer Mel Torme. And he's produced and directed television shows and movies. He produced the television series and created it, Sliders. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Yeah, Sliders.
And he also did Fire in the Sky, the movie about Travis Walton. And he actually brought Travis Walton on the program with him one day. But he claims he knows Bob Lazar and was going to try to bring him on the program at one point. It'd be great to have him on. What is your assessment, Paul, of what really goes on at Area 51? There are those that say, it's not a normal base. It's where experimental aircraft are tested out. And then there are others who say, no, there's more to it. There's evidence of alien spacecraft and that sort of thing. Having been there, what is your take on it?
I saw how secluded that area is. And if you're going to do any kind of reverse engineering on UFOs, Area 51 would have been the place to do it. Now I hear that they moved S4, where they were doing reverse engineering on UFOs. they moved it over to Utah or Colorado. So, because there's just, too many people know about Area 51. Plus, they confessed to it. They said, yeah, there is an Area 51. So, and as for Travis Walton, I talked to him on the telephone one time. Nice gentleman. That is a, great guy. I like him.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. And he doesn't do a lot of interviews anymore.
No.
It's been done. But he was kind enough to come on because of Tracy and spend an hour with us, and it was really a fascinating conversation. I scrolled down to the second of the pictures that you sent us.
I do have 2 questions though.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Penny.
Okay, so, any aliens at the Little Alien Inn?
No.
Sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I mean, there was some happy people drinking spirits, but no aliens. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a different kind of paranormal.
Yeah.
And did you go to see, do you remember the black mailbox that got stolen?
I didn't go to that area. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we didn't go to that
The
area.
black mailbox got stolen, and I just thought it was odd because one of my handlers, who I think is the son of Albert Speer, Hitler's Minister of War, told me that when I went out to see him after 40 years, he needed to get a new mailbox. And I found out that the old black mailbox was stolen. So I looked it up on the web, and in the black mailbox they had graffiti all over it, and then there was a little section in there that was black, and it had writing on it. And I was looking at it, I was like, what does that say? And it said Penny was here.
Wow.
I know. I was like, what? So I got lost a bunch of times in the 80s in the desert, and they had me in black projects. So I was like, that's weird. Little bit.
Yeah, that is weird. Huh. Well,
Have you never been there?
Whoever stole that black mailbox, so it's probably worth a fortune. So if they were trying to sell it on the black market, they would probably get an immense amount of money.
Yeah, they replaced it actually when I was looking for it, after I left Darrell's house, they replaced it like in February of I think 2017, I think they replaced it.
Wow.
The problem is if they tried to sell it, even if they were going to make a lot of money on it, they'd probably get maybe a visit from a couple of men in black, or some government official saying, so you're the one that this. We'd like to have a little discussion with you.
Oh yeah.
Right?
When I went to Area 51, also too, George Knapp tweeted that we were going over there, and we were working with a UFO group, and 2 of the members of that UFO group were scientists, and one of the things they wanted us to do was to collect some of the soil samples over there, and we did. We mailed it to the UFO group, and what was kind of unique about that soil sample is that it had little tiny wires in the dirt. And also too, the UFO group says somehow that the ground, the area around there, was eradicated for whatever reason. They couldn't really answer that. So, and they were mystified on the little wires that was found in the soil.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what does this picture indicate here that we have on the screen? It looks like almost like something rising from the ground or coming down from the sky to the ground.
Yeah. I call that a portal or a doorway. One of our psychics, we're going through Copperopolis, and this psychic claims that when she was a child, she was abducted by a UFO in the town of Auburn. And we were going through Copperopolis, and she says, Paul, she goes, there's something in the sky. And as I looked in the sky with my naked eye, I couldn't see anything, nor could she. And she snaps a picture, and that picture is right there. It looks like a portal or a doorway in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was, yeah, that would just blew me away that she was able to capture that and knowing that there was something in the sky.
It's fascinating because I know there are other dimensions out there, and that certain people have the ability to see things that other of us do not, only because they have developed their pineal gland, I think, to a greater extent, and they can see things like from the corner of their eye, and when we can too, but sometimes when they turn, they can continue to see it, whereas we don't. You know, and I think there are other dimensions. We had a guest on who talked about a portal in their bedroom, and they disappeared. Remember that, Penny? Somebody went through the portal and never came back.
Yes.
So it's there's a lot to that. I take it you also believe in that, then, Paul.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I believe that we're in a multiverse, and we can go from one dimension to another if we were to find these certain portals.
Now, this third photograph looks like there's three objects that could be UFOs, right? Flying in the sky, in the background there above. What was that? The moon, I believe.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Um,
And what's the story behind that?
okay, again, I had that psychic in my car. We were in Elk Grove, California, and she looks at me and she goes, pull into this parking lot. I go, why? There was nobody in the parking lot. And then she goes, just pull in there. I go, what's going on? And she goes, there's something in the sky. And then she did that, something in the sky again. I'm looking in the sky. I'm not seeing nothing. She snaps a photo, and bam. Here we got three, looks like UAPs, UFOs, in the sky. And you couldn't see it with your naked eye. It was just amazing. And 14 Times actually took that picture and published it and made the claim that there was somebody else in that area, Sacramento, Elk Grove, that saw these three discs flying in the sky. So that kind of made her story even more believable. And also, too, the photographic evidence of knowing that there's something in the sky.
You know, there was a story a few months back that we reported on. I'm going to take these photos down so we can see you better. A family had claimed that some sort of a craft crashed near their backyard, and they saw these, 12-foot beings that were walking around back there. And police officers actually had seen something coming out of the sky. Was this near Las Vegas?
Yeah, it was Las Vegas. Yeah.
Okay. And then nothing. We heard the story. We reported on it, and then there was nothing further about it. This one guy, he looked like he was a nice young Hispanic gentleman. Did a couple of videos on either TikTok or talking about what they saw and what his family witnessed. Presented video evidence of something, but then there was nothing further about it. Do you know did you follow up on that story at all? And if so, is there any further news on that?
Yeah, David, it went into a dead end. Yeah, there's nothing to follow up on. You would think that they would take their body cams and as they're walking through the backyard and film everything and then release it to the public to let us know that either there was no aliens that visited them or there was something that did visit them. Yeah, it just went right straight to a dead end. Just like when they shot down the cylinder in the sky, this UAP, it just went into a dead end again. They didn't say if they found it, they were searching for it, what it was, anything. It's just, that's it. You know,
Yeah.
it really, it kind of upsets me when you don't get a full answer.
Well, yeah, and the tendency when something like that happens
Mm-hmm.
is to default to the fact that it was fake, even if
Right.
it is real. In other words, you start to say, well, because you can do so much today with Photoshop and artificial intelligence manufacturing of videos of things that that look like, oh my God, there's some sort of a cryptid walking around here, and then it's really not. I think we told you maybe the last time you were on the show about a guy that we had on a program who, he puts all these. He has a bunch of cell phones. None of them are connected to Wi-Fi, but he has them all in his looks like his bedroom or something, and he's got them in different, like on his dresser and on his little thing. It actually looks like you're walking into an AT&T store looking for a new iPhone. And he claims that he picks up verbal and or signals from extraterrestrial craft, and then he puts cameras outside in the back of his house, and he claimed that he caught